Hello there, Kickstarter backers for the Servants of Judgment book. Quick update for you. I wanted to make it into video because there's a lot to say and most people don't like to read. So forgive the bad camera angle, the lighting's better this way. So we did get the sample book in the mail from Print Nation. And, it's not what I asked for. I specifically asked for matte. And that was the whole point of ordering the proof. As you can tell, it is not matte. Now, it's not terrible. They specifically requested like these weird rules. So now that I've seen this, I'm going to want to change a few things in regards of that because their suggested margins seem unnecessary. Which also means that the spine, words on the spine can be made bigger. Because of their restrictions on the spine, so glary, the S.R. Mori on the Servants of Judgment is actually smaller than the Veil of Stars, which is weird. Also, you can't tell on the camera, but the spine is off-center. Actually, you can. So like the M is way too far this way and not enough this way, which results in this really off-center back. So needless to say, not very impressed with this company. Also, the paper inside, on this video it'll probably look perfectly fine. And, my book formatter did an excellent job. Very proud of her. And she did it for a fraction of the cost of the Veil of Stars printer. The only thing I would probably change is there was a couple typos I caught on the copyright page, and then the map, probably move the images away from the middle of the book a bit. But, part of why I ordered the test print was to see how well the margins are, since I did go with somebody who's not professional formatter, and I feel like it turned out really well in terms of that. But the big problem there is what I've already outlined, but like there's a chapter header named after an August Burns Red song. But the paper type is a problem, the off-center is a problem, obviously the cover finish is a problem. So I am working on solutions for this, both with this printer, and I have sought out other printers. So that's where the really big news comes in. It's hard to know where to start exactly, but with this being what it is, which I will say, I'm impressed. Their glossy cover does not show fingerprints, and I didn't know that that was possible. So to their credit, that is pretty awesome. But I really am against having such a wide disparity here, It just looks off. And the paper in the Veil of Stars is very novel feeling. It feels like a novel should, and this feels like copier paper, and I do have a problem with that. So we're trying to look at things, and so I'm going to share my screen with you and kind of show some of the things I've come up with as an alternative, and you guys let me know your thoughts. Now, before I do that, though, they haven't gotten back to me yet, but I'm hoping that they're going to send me a proof with the actual matte finish so that I can at least see that. The copier paper is still an issue for me, but it's not quite copier paper, but it's pretty close. It feels like the paper that you would get from a non-fiction book. That's what it feels like. So it's not like a deal breaker for me, but you combine the sloppiness of this with their ridiculous criteria on the spine and with their, you know, margins and borders. That's why the Mistwood logo is so high up as well. I have not been overly impressed, but it is cool to see this thick book together and one. Now, let me share my screen real quick. Let's do it this way so you can still see me. So I have contacted a few companies, and the thing that makes these different is that these are on-demand printing places. And the reason why I have not done on-demand printing in the past is because of the very limited options that they have. So Ingram Spark, for example, or the Amazon Print on Demand, they have very limited trim sizes, which do not fit the trim size that I have for the Legends of Fostra. And additionally, they have very limited paper options, cover finish options, and some quality issues that I've seen a lot of people talk about. And I've also ordered books from those places, and I did not like the product that I was seeing. Kind of like how I don't care for this. So the difference between those places and Taylor, and then this one I found today, a Q Track, or however you pronounce it, is these companies are a lot more like the company that I printed with the Veil of Stars, where they're not a commercial place. You know, they're not a flashy place where, I don't want to say stupid, but it's like the difference of somebody who knows, like, when you go touristing and you go to, like, the really obvious place, the touristy place, and then, like, the place that's actually more authentic and better. These websites, in order to find them, you have to go like 5 to 10 search pages into Google just to be able to begin to find these websites. And that's how I found Marquee, which is the printer for the Veil of Stars. And I probably have it somewhere, but yeah, they're back there, so let me grab that. Most of you probably don't know this, but when Mistwood first started out, I tried printing the Sylvan Mist at the first place I found as well, and it was kind of a similar story where it's that copier paper, but it was a little bit of a cream color, and I didn't really like it, as well as it was incredibly thin. And the matte finish on it is just feels more like an eraser, which I am not a fan of, as it makes the art blurry and it makes the edges start to peel right away. So I'm kind of telling myself that history is repeating itself a little bit here, and I just need to find my new marquee. And I'm hoping that that is one of these things. Now here's what makes these companies especially exciting. Because they have print-on-demand options, if I can get this book to work, even if that means cutting it in half, and that's the big thing, is that is back on the table. Splitting it in two could potentially, you guys would still get both. But hey, if they can do it all as one book, I would prefer that, because that would save money. But the other part of it is the one negative for print on demand is that, the customer typically ends up paying more per copy. So like print on demand, it costs more per copy sold, but they would be integrated into the Mistwood Publishing website. So I know that's a lot to process, but so like you would order a book off of Mistwood Publishing, they would print it, made to order, and ship it to you for me, so that I don't have to do these really large crowdfunding campaigns. The crowdfunding campaigns would be to spread awareness and raise hype, not to offset big financial risks, and I wouldn't have to store the books in my, spare room or in a closet or something. I would obviously have some on hand for Comic-Cons and things like that, but the point is I can make orders whenever I like, and people can order them straight off of the website. The negative of that is because you're doing it that way, each copy costs more to print because there's always discounts per volume of how many books you print. So this wouldn't affect you guys as Kickstarter backers, but the Servants of Judgment in the future, I'm trying to figure out, okay, I don't want to have the price tag of like 30 attached to this book on the Mistwood website. And by that, I'm not saying like, oh, Shay wants to still have a $10, he wants to have a $10 profit. It actually costs $20 to print it, and he's charging it for 30. That's not what I mean. I mean that if a book this thick costs $30 to print one copy, then I will split the book in half because I don't want to screw the consumer. I don't want to screw my customers paying $30 for one novel, even one that's as long as 3 novels put together, like this. It just doesn't sit right with me. And I'm not in this to get rich. And that's what I'm getting at here. I care if people are reading it and if people like it. Obviously making money is nice, but let's say it costs $20 to print one of these as one book. I would probably keep it one book and sell it for like $22. I would only be making $3 per copy, but that's not what matters to me. What matters to me is the exposure and that people are reading the book. And as I grow my audience, yes, of course, I would love to make more profit and to make Mistwood even as successful as enough for me to make it my full-time job. That would be the dream. But this, if it works, can be a really good solution to make printing a million times easier. And I don't have to keep doing these crowdfunding campaigns, which stress me out and all of that stuff. And I'll still will do them, but all the pressure will be taken off because of the on-demand printing. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I have contacted Taylor, and they have not responded yet, but that was less than 24 hours ago that I sent them an email. Acute Track, they have this awesome thing where you book a call. I have a meeting with a representative tomorrow, this time tomorrow, so I'll be talking to them and seeing what's possible and if they can do what I need. So that's the update. Yesterday was extremely disheartening, but we roll with the punches and we keep going, and that's how it's done. Hope you guys have a nice day. That's the update for now. I'll keep coming at you with updates. All the stickers are ordered, including the sticker pad and everything, so if you missed your chance to vote on that, it is what it is. But yeah, all the stickers are ordered and ready to ship, and next I'll be working on hoodies and blankets and things like that, all the extra stuff. So peace out, Brussels sprouts.